Hello, seniors. Each year at this time, we are excited to present to you the local scholarship bulletin. Each and every scholarship listed in this bulletin will be awarded to students in this Port Chester High School graduating class of 2017. Before we go into further detail regarding the instructions for applying, please make note that the deadline for submitting the scholarships online is Wednesday, March 22nd, no later than 3 p.m. All parts of the application must be submitted electronically via Google Classroom, with the exception of any letters of recommendation, which may be required by certain scholarships. Those letters must be physically handed in to the secretary in the guidance office. Please do not wait for the last minute. There is much work involved, and if you encounter any technical difficulties or have any questions, you will most certainly run out of time. All submissions should be proofread several times to ensure that you are sending your best work. Again, all applications and required materials are due electronically by 3 p.m. on Wednesday, March 22nd. Absolutely no exceptions will be made. You will be unable to submit past 3 p.m. on Wednesday, March 22nd. Those of you who are selected to receive an award will be notified by mail sometime in early May. The Senior Awards Night will take place on Thursday evening, May 18th at 6:30 p.m. in our high school auditorium. There will also be a rehearsal prior to that evening, which you will be notified about. Shortly after you receive your award that evening, you will be expected to write a note thanking the individuals who provided you with the scholarship. Addresses will be provided. Now, please pay close attention as we go through the step-by-step instructions for how to complete the scholarship applications.
Here are some important scholarship instructions. The first instructions are how to join the Google Classroom for Senior Scholarship. First, sign into Classroom at classroom.google.com. On the homepage, click the plus sign. Then please enter the code that was given to you in the box, which is BF3LOPT, and click Join. You will now be in the Senior Scholarship Classroom with all the information that you need to complete the scholarship bulletin. Next, please go to the About tab, where you will find the scholarship bulletin, the scholarship worksheet, and these instructions. You will read the bulletin and denote on your worksheet which scholarships you are eligible to apply for after reading the scholarship criteria. When you know what scholarships you are applying for, you will look at the class stream to see all the necessary parts to complete the scholarship process. All students must complete the Part 1 Google form and the Part 2 mandatory essay. If the scholarship is asking for additional pieces, please submit the additional piece as an assignment in Google Classroom as well. The only paper that should be handed into the guidance office will be letters of recommendation if a scholarship asks for it. Each assignment on Google Classroom will tell you exactly what is needed for that specific scholarship. Please remember that spelling, punctuation, and grammar are extremely important elements in your application. And once again, all applications are due Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017 before 3 p.m. There are absolutely no exceptions. You are now in the About screen in the Senior Scholarship Classroom. First, you will see the deadline, once again, to remind you, March 22nd, 2017 by 3 p.m. And then you will see the scholarship worksheet, the scholarship bulletin, and the Google Classroom instructions again. This is the page where you need to go to start the scholarship process. First, we will look at the scholarship worksheet, which you are now all holding as it was handed out to you during this presentation. You are going to notice that here is a list of every single scholarship, from 1 to 84. Now, you're going to say, oh great, there's 84 scholarships. Well, in fact, there is a significant amount more. Some may be giving out to 2 students, some will give out to 5, some will give out to 10. Last year, over $100,000 was given out on Senior Scholarship Night, so you can understand why this is such an important event to our school and to your graduating class. What you will do, and this is how we recommend you start the process, is you are going to take your worksheet with a pencil, sit at your computer, and you are now going to pull up the Senior Scholarship Bulletin. First, please do not print out the Senior Scholarship Bulletin at school. We do not want to waste paper, and everyone has it on their Google Classroom, so you can access it from anywhere. Now, what you will do is you are going to sit there with your worksheet, and you are going to read the entire bulletin. Yes, it looks like it's a lot, but remember, it's worth it. So you are going to go through the entire bulletin. Now, let's look at what some criteria say. For example, first, it's the 40/40 Club Scholarship. This is an award of $500, and it will be given to a graduating senior who has demonstrated good character, involvement in the school community, and has performed well academically. Financial need is also a consideration. Now, we all know that everyone has some level of financial need, and that's personal to you and your family. But if you look at the other criteria and you can say, I have good character, I've been involved, and I've done well academically, then what you should do is take your pencil and put a little check next to number 1 on your worksheet so that you know that this is a scholarship that you want to apply. Now, as you're going through the bulletin, you are going to see that there's scholarships for everyone. Some may say for an athlete, some may say attending a trade or technical school, some will say looking at fine arts, some for education, some majoring in music, some majoring in science. But it is important that you read the criteria and you truthfully apply to the ones that meet your personal needs and meet your personal interests. When you are done going through the bulletin, what should happen is on your worksheet, you should have every single scholarship checked off that you plan on applying to. At this point, next you are ready to go onto the first stream of the Google Classroom page. Now that you have on your scholarship worksheet checked off every scholarship that you have met the criteria for, you are ready to sit down and fill out the requirements to apply for these scholarships. Whether you apply to 1 scholarship or 50 scholarships, you must complete a mandatory Part 1, which includes personal questions, name, address, elementary school, things of that nature. And you also must complete a mandatory Part 2 essay, which is under 350 words. Now, some scholarships, in addition to the mandatory Part 1 and the Part 2 essay, will ask for additional requirements for their scholarship. How do you know if that scholarship asks for additional pieces? There are 3 ways. The first way is on the scholarship worksheet, you will see a star next to its name. So for example, the Charles William Melillo Scholarship and the Class of 1966 Community Service Scholarship both have stars. So you know that if you met the criteria that for these scholarships, you are going to have to do Part 1, Part 2, an additional piece. The second way to know is if you are looking at the scholarship bulletin, you are going to see in the right column that it'll say something such as complete essay form, complete application. So for example, on this page, for the King Street PTA Award, you will know that you will have to write an essay. For the Kiwanis Club, both of them, you will have to complete an additional application. Now, if I scroll down and I look at the Lieutenant Joseph F. Saccone Memorial Sports Scholarship, it's telling me that there's an additional essay, but besides that, I must also get a letter of recommendation from my coach. So, as I look through the additional requirements, I need to make sure that if there's a letter of recommendation that says from an outside school person, from a coach, or from someone I did community service with, I need to make sure that those letters are complete and handed into the guidance office before 3 p.m. on March 22nd. Now, the third way to know that if there is an additional piece is if I go back and I'm looking on the stream in alphabetical order as I scroll down, I will see all the scholarships that require additional scholarship requirements. So those are the 3 ways to know that as I'm looking on my scholarship worksheet, which ones will know that I need to do Part 1, Part 2, and something additional.
Now that you have your worksheet beside you and have looked at all of the additional pieces and are more certain about what you might be applying to, we can now get started on working. Mandatory Part 1 should not be completed as of yet, and we will discuss that shortly. Let's look at the Part 2 essay. This essay is required for all students to complete and to complete once. Once you've completed it and submitted it, that requirement is complete. You will click on Open, Now add to your Google Drive, and you will now have it on your drive and be ready to work. So let's discuss this essay. The essay, once you've submitted it, can be retrieved again if you feel like you want to add something or change something or have made an error, but it must be done, that's right, before 3 p.m. on March 22nd. So let's look at the question. The question is, the scholarship committee would like to have you write about yourself. Highlight your greatest achievements throughout high school. Why are you deserving of this scholarship? Include why you desire to continue your education, school of choice, and reasons for your selection. While everyone has some level of financial need, this is a time to showcase your accomplishments. This is an essay where you want to put information about yourself that you want the donor or the committee that's reading your application to know about you, of why you feel you deserve a scholarship. Many of the students ask us if this could be their college essay. The question should be answered. It shouldn't just be a copy and paste of your college essay. You can use pieces of it if they are answering that question, but most importantly, you are talking about yourself. You are selling yourself and telling all positive things about you and what you've done. When you are finished and you turn it in and submit it, it can be retrieved once again if you feel like there's something else that you need to put. So that is the Part 2 essay.
As the Part 2 was just explained to you, which is the mandatory essay, we will now go into the mandatory Part 1, which is a questionnaire. The most important thing to remember is, while the Part 2 essay can be submitted more than once, the mandatory Part 1 can only be submitted one time. Once you press submit, you cannot get it back. So we will now go through the questions, and it is important as you understand as why this probably should not be the thing that you do first. Now, as we go through the questions, you are going to see that the top questions are your name, your address, what is your high school GPA? Very important. Every student that is applying for a scholarship should email their guidance counselor or ask the guidance secretaries for an electronic copy of their high school transcript. When any scholarship asks for your GPA, you will give them the GPA on a 100-point scale at the bottom of your transcript. Do not think that you can make it into a 3.0. That isn't how it works. Every GPA should be on a 100-point scale at the bottom of your transcript. Next, which elementary school did you attend? Obviously, as you saw before, as we pointed out, King Street, every single elementary school has a scholarship. Now, if you went to more than one elementary school, that's okay. You can check both. And of course, there's a place to say if you did not attend elementary school in Port Chester High School. Now, where do you plan on continuing your education after Port Chester High School? Some of you may know the school that you are attending next year. Some of you may have April 1 deadlines or March 15th and may not be sure. Please put down the 2 or 3 schools that you are still deciding on. It is okay to say, I got into Marist College, but I'm still waiting to hear from Villanova or University of Delaware. That's okay, but do not list 6 schools. We really want to know which are your top contenders. Now, possible college major. First, please put down what you are interested in. As you saw, there are majors, like we said, from education, engineering, science. If you put down here that your possible college major is education and you are applying to engineering scholarships, well, that may not match up. So if your possible college major should match what you are applying for. Now, it is okay to be undecided. We know many students are undecided. So please put undecided, but may have an interest in psychology or education. That is a completely acceptable answer. As we continue on, please just give mother information or father information, legal guardian information, And the only reason why is we just want to know just what your family dynamics are. Please put down any siblings and if they are in college or if they attend elementary school, middle school, etc. Next is the family gross income. Obviously, we understand this is very personal information. This information does not go to anyone outside. It is basically just for the scholarship committee. Please look at your 2016 taxes and give the adjusted gross income on the bottom. Next, are you currently employed? How many hours a week? Are you going to be working this summer? And then extracurricular clubs and activities. Now, please put down everything you've done during your high school career. If you've worked more and have more work hours, that's completely okay. That's why we're asking that question first. But make sure you put down any extracurricular clubs, community service, anything that is important of what you've done during high school. Now, most important, the last question, it says, which scholarships are you applying to? So, you are looking at your worksheet, and you saw which ones you met the criteria for. Then you went back and you saw which ones needed additional essays, additional applications, etc. If you are only going to get through 20 of the original 30 that you checked off, then wait to submit the part 1 and check off the 20 that you are definitely doing. We don't want you to do the part 1 first and say, hey, I'm applying to 50 scholarships, and then something comes up. And maybe you only get to do 40 of those. So please, this is why we are saying to submit the part 1 last, because you need to go through and check which scholarships you are applying to, and we want to make sure that the scholarships you check off are the ones that you can complete every requirement that is necessary. At the end, you are going to go down and say that all the information is truthful and accurate, and then you will press submit. As we said before, when you press submit, you will not be able to get the part 1 back. We will now go through some examples of additional scholarship requirements that will be asked of you so that you can see what those require in terms of planning out how many scholarships you can get done. As we said, with this entire scholarship bulletin process, you absolutely cannot wait to the last minute to get everything done. Like we said before, go over your grammar, read things over. Same things come into play with these additional pieces. So let's open first the Tony Carlucci Memorial Scholarship Athletic Award. We'll wait for it to load. As we said, when everything loads, make sure the first thing you do is, when you see add, make sure that the first thing you do is say add to my drive. Why we do that? Everything will be there. So if you're working on your scholarship and then let's say you have to sign off, when you log back into your Gmail account, when you go to your drive, everything that you've previously done will be waiting for you in your drive. Well, the Tony Carlucci is taking a moment, so let's go back and see what else we have. Let's open to Tamarack Tower. Now, here is the deal with Tamarack Tower. Tamarack Tower every year gives the graduating class a substantial amount of scholarship money. They are so good to our high school, to the current senior class, to previous senior classes. We are going to show you what they ask for. Now, you are going to see that the first thing says 10 scholarships of $1,000 each. So that is a nice chunk of change. Will be awarded to Portchester High School graduating students. Students must be accepted full-time to an accredited 2 or 4-year college and must have a current grade point average of at least a 3.0. So they're looking for kids really in the at least lower end, being in the lower 80s. So as you scroll down, you are going to see that you have to do this application, but besides the application, they are also asking for you to upload your high school transcript, 2 letters of recommendation. One can be someone from the high school. Another person cannot be a school employee. So that may take you a little time to go and find that other person. A letter of acceptance. The letter of acceptance can be from any college that you got into. As we said in the part 1, you put down your top 2 or 3 schools. Probably should be a letter of acceptance from one of those schools if you have it right now, just as an advice. Then an essay of 250 words or less telling them what you liked most about your time at Portchester High School. So be reflective, be honest. So they're asking you to fill out all this information. List your awards, list community service, list your extracurricular activities, any jobs you've had, anything about your family situation that you want them to know. When it says signature of student, sign your name by typing your name, include the date, and then you're going to write your essay about what you like Portchester High School here. Now, when you go to submit this, it's going to say add. You are going to go to file, and you are going to upload a file of your high school transcript, and then you are also going to upload a file of your letter of acceptance. So If you have a letter of acceptance in email, take a screenshot, save it as a doc, upload it as a file. Same thing with your transcript. It's going to be a PDF. You could just upload it as a file, and when everything is ready, you are going to click Turn In, and then everything will be submitted that you need for Tamarack Tower. If we look at another one, let's go to the Westchester Medical Center. Once again, the computer is not as fast as we are, but what the Westchester Medical Center is if we open it, it's the same thing. There are going to be 2 scholarships of $1,000. Once again, a nice chunk of change. Graduating seniors who will attend a 2 or 4-year schools have a minimum grade point average of a 3.0, so they're looking for the same, GPA as with Tamarack Tower, and who plan to major in a STEM or healthcare-related field, so, med, anything science-related. What they're looking for, essay of 500 words and 2 teacher recommendation letters. So you're going to type your essay right there, describe your interest in STEM or your healthcare-related field. Put that right there. Same thing, when it's ready, you're going to go back, put it into attach, turn it in, and then you are going to make sure that you hand into the guidance office the 2 letters of recommendation needed for this scholarship.
So just for a quick recap, have your scholarship worksheet by your side as you read through the bulletin. Check off the scholarships that you plan to apply to. Look closely at the extra pieces necessary for each scholarship. Complete and electronically submit the Part 2 essay as well as any additional required pieces if applicable. Finally, Part 1 must be completed accurately and submitted as it can only be submitted one time. We hope that you have found these instructions helpful. If you have any questions at all or are in need of any assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to Mrs. Ruggiero in the computer lab or the counselors in the guidance office. Thank you.